Okay guys, just hear me out for a second. I think I know what the title and trailer for the sequel to this movie should be. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, and the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Hello and welcome to my review of the Luc Besson sci-fi action thriller Lockout, starring Guy Pearce and Maggie Grace. And yes, Europa Corp, I will happily accept money for both that title and that trailer. Please, I'm broke. So Lockout centers on your typical smartass, loose cannon, ex-CIA agent, super badass mercenary, named, as you may have guessed by now, Snow, played by Guy Pearce. He's tasked with the mission of rescuing the president's daughter, played by Maggie Grace, from a space station called MS-1 that also happens to be a prison that's been taken over by said prisoners. Now, I was actually fairly looking forward to this film for two reasons. One, I'm a fan of these Luc Besson movies, no matter how stupid they are, whether it be Transporter, From Paris with Love, and especially Taken, I find them all to be really, really entertaining. Except for Columbiana. But anyways. And also, I am a big Guy Pearce fan. I feel like the guy is not only incredibly underrated, but deserves more leading man roles, because he is charismatic like nobody's business. And I gotta say, while the movie did disappoint in some aspects, it wasn't horrible. Now, some may say, you know what, Mike, you should start out with the worst things first this time to make things different. And I'll say, no, I'm gonna start out with the best things, because there is one really, really good thing that makes this movie not horrible, and that's Guy Pearce. This guy, like I said before, charisma magnet. This guy is fantastic in this movie. He plays your kind of typical Snake Plissken, Han Solo, rugged, I don't give a crap about anything, badass guy who's got like a smart smirk for every little thing that goes on. But he really commits to it, and he gives it a little bit more depth. It makes it feel like there's a little bit more below the surface of this guy than most people would. He creates a three-dimensional character out of two-dimensional writing, and he's just really fun to watch. Guy Pearce has always had this great sense of like dry comedic timing, and he applies that great in this film. Also, Maggie Grace is pretty good in the movie, and they have a really good chemistry in the movie. They have great banter back and forth, and that helps the movie move along. The problem is, this movie's got a little bit of issue with that, moving along at first. After a fantastic, admittedly, opening sequence where Guy Pearce just shows you exactly what kind of character he's going to be, and possibly one of the most entertaining openings to a movie I've seen in a while, the movie just, because it has a very cliche, derivative plot, don't get me wrong, and you have to take time to set that up with the prisoners taking over the ship, and the god are going, oh no, and then you have the whole posturing of everybody trying to get Snow to do it. And there's a good 25-30 minutes of the film where it's just dead. It is so boring, and it really takes you out of the film. I thought I was going to hate this movie just because it started out so awfully. It doesn't really pick up until Guy Pearce and Maggie Grace meet for the first time. Then the movie becomes watchable. But until then, this movie is pretty boring. And while after Pearce meets Grace, the movie picks up a little bit and becomes a little bit more fun, you can't deny this is a very cliche film. You can see every move this movie makes coming from a mile away. And I have to say, I do like the setting and everything, but I just wish this movie had just gone for it a little more. And it would have been better if it was cliched, but was just so crazy that you couldn't get over it. As we have now, we have a very safe film. This movie is directed by James Mather and Stephen St. Leger, who I believe are first-time Irish directors, and they do a competent job, but they really miss one of the key aspects of action movies, which is you gotta keep the action scenes intense, and you gotta have a feeling of danger with these characters, and you just never really do, especially in a movie that takes place in a prison. I would have loved this to just be a brutal, bloody, hard R movie where this badass mercenary meets up with all these insane prisoners in this outer space setting where no one can hear you scream. But it just feels like a very tame PG-13 action movie, not really a whole lot of blood, not really a whole lot of consequence. It just kind of zips along, and once it's over, you're going to forget about it. And also, these two guys definitely do have that problem of when they're filming action scenes, you can't see a thing that's going on. They go all crazy and bobbing and weaving like Muhammad Ali with the camera, especially during an atrocious CGI motorcycle chase scene during the beginning of the film, where you just can't tell what the hell's going on. Overall, while Lockout is a good star vehicle for Guy Pearce and Maggie Grace, it's ultimately forgettable. And while they deliver in spades, the movie's just not there to support it. It's tame violence, cliche story, and painfully slow start hinder what could have been an interesting and intense sci-fi movie into just something you'll rent, watch, and forget about. 2 stars out of 4 for Lockout. And that was my review of Lockout. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can subscribe, comment, make a request to review, do anything you want. And until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike, making sure your time is worth your money.